um, museum pieces, things like that. And I really think that if you like to use your voice, you can do this. There is absolutely nothing special or extraordinary about me. I am absolute average Joe when it comes to um, the voice. I truly believe anybody with a healthy voice can achieve the success that I have if they do the things that I've done, as far as with practice and what have you. Um, and then many of you, let's say, for example, Dave Swee, you just have so much less of a learning curve than I did. And if we can we turn everybody turn their mic off? Is that possible? I think we're getting some feedback. Okay, yeah, I think still getting some, there we go. Are we good? We good? Okay, okay. Thank you very much. No, I want this to be interactive, so that doesn't mean we can't talk, but also apparently when multiple mics are on, there'll be some weird feedback and such. So my point is, if you are interested in voice acting, there is absolutely no reason why you shouldn't be a voice actor. I saw a guy earlier today in town. I had given him a copy of my book because he said that he was interested. I have a book, How to Be a Voice Actor, is on Amazon. I had a hard copy, so I gave it to him. He read it, and today I ran into him, and he said, "Hey, I loved your book. I thought it was inaccessible, and after reading your book, I think I can be a voice actor if I want to." And I was like, "Great, that's the point of the book. Good job." So, you know, it's I've seen a lot of coaches and stuff that make voice acting seem inaccessible. Like, well, I'm going to judge you, and well, I'll see if you have what it takes, that sort of thing. And I that is not my viewpoint. I think if you have a voice and you want to use it, then you can be a voice actor. And I think it's just a matter of getting your voice in the right places, in the right setting, and you can absolutely make money, make a living even with your voice. So that's my goal for these webinars. In this AI age, I like to try and encourage the next generation of actual human voice actors, because now you can go on different sites and just sort of use some AI voices, and it's not the same. You listening to me right now have something that AI will never have, and that is a soul. You know what I mean? AI can imitate it, but AI does not have a soul. You have a soul, and I just think that you have something to offer this industry that I want to help. Sarah, you mentioned that you're an author and you're thinking of making your own audiobooks. That is awesome. That is that's perfect. I'm so glad to see you on here, because I think that you can not only save yourself so much money, but you can give your listeners a special experience that a narrator, even if they're highly trained, might not give them, because they don't know the characters like you know the characters, or the narrative like you know it, because you wrote it, right? So I think you're uniquely positioned to give your listeners, potential listeners, an experience that they would not have otherwise. And this is how you do it right here. So, um, um, to get started, different people are at different levels. I mean, I like Steve. I have personally been with Steve in a voiceover, in a audio drama, in a studio in Chicago. Like, I know Steve is an amazing voice actor. Um, um, like same with Dave. I have been in the studio with Dave and said, seen him act, seen him work, heard him work. If I was in the director's room while he was working, he's amazing. Not to mention, he was voice of the Indianapolis Colts back in the day. Great voice, amazing voice. There is no reason why each and every one of you cannot make money, make a living with your voice if you want to. And it's just a matter of a few things, right? Uh, Hoosier's nice. The the Bobby Knight, isn't that he wasn't he the Hoosiers coach? I always like that Ron Swanson quote. He's like, has Bobby Knight on the poster on the wall, Parks and Rec. Anyway, so let's say you want to be a voice actor, an audiobook narrator, and you're not exactly sure where to start, and that seems inaccessible to you. Okay, so the first thing you need to do is you need to make yourself a studio in your house, right? And it's very simple. You can literally, you can literally make it in. Okay, here's what I'm going to do. I wasn't planning on this, but I'm just going to show you. I might have to turn on some lights. This was my first. All of my family is at the in the in-laws. Okay, this was my first voiceover studio. See that? Hanging clothes, hanging clothes. That was my first studio. It worked pretty good. It was pretty decent. Wasn't perfect, but it was a 90% solution. If you don't have anything besides this, a closet with hanging clothes, if that's all you have, fine. That's where you need to start. Start there. You can always upgrade later. Okay, but you can get a great, you can do a great job with a closet full of clothes. Okay, now my next one, I was able to convince my wife, like, hey, I need to get out of this closet and I need to make a special, like a special place. So what happened was this right here. I'm going to walk you to my other closet. Okay. Now I've taken down a lot of the stuff, but this was the closet. Now it's my daughter's room, but in this closet is where I had stuff on the wall, right? Insulation covered with felt. I sprayed adhesive from Lowe's or Menards or whatever. I just spray adhesive on the wall and I stuck insulation with felt over top of it. That was a fantastic studio, right? I had my first national commercial. It was an intro to Sunday Night Football, Cowboys versus the Saints, was in this little room right here with insulation on the wall, with a Blue Yeti microphone, with a USB mic, which I would not recommend starting with, but the Lord's good. So now I have a studio, which if you were here Friday night, you would have seen me in. It's outside, have a little freestanding garage area, and it has all that kind of stuff. It's like a freestanding little studio. Anyway, my point is that it does not have to be fancy. You do not need a lot of money. You don't need anything like that. You just need a space with some soft surfaces around it, right? Hanging clothes. It could be quilts. It could be moving blankets. Um, PVC pipe frame and a quilt is a fantastic way to do it. I know several top voice actors. I'm saying top voice actors that have a PVC frame and a quilt. Okay. So great. I mean, that's good. As long as it sounds good, nobody cares what it looks like. It doesn't have to look good, just has to sound good. Okay. So you need that, and then you need a mic. It could be, I mean, it could be a USB mic like a Blue Yeti or a Audio Technica 2020 or something like that. But I would recommend a a different one, which is one with an XLR cable. It's a little thicker cable, has a an interface, some kind of interface. Usually on the low end will be 60 to 80 bucks, something like that. Um, you don't need one like at church or at a concert where there's 500 switches on it. You just need a little interface that plugs in from your mic, and your computer plugs into it, and it's going to sound great. Usually 60 to 80 bucks. I have a sort of a recommendations list. If you email me, like say, hey, I want some recommendations, I've already got it, and I'll send it to you. Okay, so just email me, jakephillips116@gmail.com. Happy to send it to you. You need an XLR mic and a interface. You'll be good. Okay, you need software. That could be GarageBand if you're on Mac. It could be the media player if you're on Windows. It's going to be just fine. Also, my favorite free one is Audacity. It's got Windows, it's got the Mac, and it's got what do you call it? Linux even on there. So if you have a in review, hey Stephanie. So in review, quiet place to record, right? Could be your clothes closet, as long as there's soft stuff. You don't want those hard surfaces to distort the sound and come back into the mic. You got soft surfaces all around you. And then you have a mic, and then you have a software, Audacity, GarageBand, whatever. And then you have a computer. You're watching this right now, either on your phone or a computer or a tablet. You've already got the equipment that you need as far as that goes. So most likely you are set up already to record. Now, once you're set up in your home, now you can always go outside to a studio and that's fine, but you always have to pay for that, pay for hours and that sort of thing. But if you are set up in your home, now you have a chance to do literally any kind of work, right? In my case, and we can talk about this in a second, but get your demo made, okay? Make your demo, and then you can place it on when you could cold call people, right? You can send it to media production houses, say, hey, my name's Steve. I've done work professionally. Here's what I do. If you want this sound, hit me up. That kind of thing. You got an audio book, make an audio book sample. My name's Sarah. I do stuff. I do audiobooks. Hit me up if you want it, that kind of thing. You can cold call people. You can take your demo and put it on places like Fiverr, Upwork, these freelance sites that do not charge you to be there. I like that. I like, let's say, voices.com or voices123. You have to pay hundreds of dollars just to have access to the auditions. Well, then once you have access to the auditions, they still take another, percentage of everything you make. On Fiverr, if you have a profile set up there, they will take 20%. It's like an agent, but you will literally have access to, like, literally the world is your oyster at that point. If you do a Fiverr profile and you have your demo, and we'll talk about what a demo is in a minute, on Fiverr, you upload that MP3 file to Fiverr, the world is thine oyster, right? You can make money. I think I've just off of Fiverr, I think I've gotten orders from over 80 countries. A lot of those don't even speak English. They just have a tourist let's say like a tourist industry that they need English speakers to present stuff in, and so they'll pay you. So I mean, I have done work all over the world just off of Fiverr. That doesn't include some of the other ones. I highly recommend you. That is a great place to be. Get your studio set up, get your demo made, get on Fiverr, and then start getting out to other stuff. If you want to do audiobooks, get on ACX, acx.com, and I will talk about that in a minute too. Um, and so yeah, I think voice acting is much, 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 much more accessible than people realize. I just from Fiverr, this week I crossed the $250,000 mark in earnings. That's $250,000. That's a lot, just off of Fiverr. That does not include anything else I've done. That's one site, Fiverr. They fluctuate. I've made a lot of money before. I've made a little money before, but I guess since 2018, I've made $250,000 off of just Fiverr. I'll take that all day and twice on Sundays. And then if you get a couple sites like that going, and you've got it made. You could decide where you want to work. You can turn down work. You can say, no, I don't think I'll do that. I don't have time for that, and that sort of thing. So, don't. I would definitely get on freelance sites like Fiverr, Upwork, Freelancer.com, Voice Bunny, that kind of thing. That you can upload your demo and then forget about it. Don't even worry about it unless they come back to you and say, oh, someone sent you a message. Oh, somebody placed an order, that kind of thing. You don't have to spend money. You just upload it and forget about it until someone buys something. You know what I mean? And then from there, I would start emailing it out. Email it to production companies and, say, hey, here's my commercial demo. I see you make commercials. I'm middle-aged, female, sound mature, whatever. And then that kind of thing. Does anybody have any questions so far?
Are you going to have a list of those sites that you're recommending? I mean, I can take notes, but not that fast. You talk fast, man.
Great. It's like drinking from a water hose. Yes, I have a sort of a Google Drive link. I will be happy to send you.
I've got the book and it's probably in there as well, but
well,
I forgot to have you sign it when we were in Chicago.
I know, I should have. I have an updated list, and I would definitely do that. Jody, great question. What do you suggest for a starting rate? And I would say that varies. Okay. What I mean by that is, okay, what are you shopping for? You could, in your town, just think of your town or, the towns within an hour from you, wherever you may be. You're going to have the corner used car lot, right? And then you're also going to have like the Lexus dealership or the Mercedes-Benz dealership. It depends on what side of town you're on. On Fiverr, I recommend people starting out real low. You know what I mean? It's like, look, if I don't have to do anything, I don't have to do marketing, nothing. I just set my stuff and then wait. There's not a lot of work that goes into it. I'm going to say, okay, I'll start real low and then try to be competitive and work my way, be able to raise my price. For instance, when I started, it was something like $5. I started like $5 per 100 words is what I started out on Fiverr. Well, now I charge $45 per 100 words. And then that's just the words. And then it's like, well, is it YouTube? Because if it's YouTube, I'll add like $35. And if it's radio or TV, then I'll add like $65. You know what I mean? So a radio or TV ad will be well over $100 if someone places an order. and then it'll take me 5 minutes to look over it, to give them 2 or 3 takes. They're super happy because I gave them 3 different takes for this 30-second commercial, and it took me 5 minutes. What job will you ever have that you could make 100, $150 in 5 to 10 minutes? You know what I mean? And if that's the case, when you find a job like that, I would say double down on it and throw all the time you can at that job, because you're gonna be doing better than, like in my case, I was a supervisor at a Fortune 500 company. I never made that kind of money. I never made $150 in 5 minutes at this Fortune 500 company. Um, Jody, yes, I edit those takes before I send them in. I'll make sure they're nice and clean. Like if I say introducing the all new Infinity Q70L. Okay, a unique blend of sporting luxury, innovative technology, and exhilarating performance. Okay, so I'll cut out all of those takes and breaths that are not associated with that thing, and then I'll do it 2 or 3 more times, and then just send it to them. Now, if they say, we liked it, but we were hoping for something more lively, then do it again. That's another 2 minutes? Fine. I'm happy to do that. But yes, I edit out any mistakes, and then I just send it to them. Good question. Um, any other questions before we move on?
I have a question.
Yes, what you got?
With your editing, do you also do like EQ, compression, things like that to clean it up? Or do you do that post-production or in your settings and intaking?
It depends. Sometimes if it's going to be on TV or some kind of big video, I just let it be absolutely raw. I let the editor do all that, because sometimes if you edit it, it will make it harder for the editor to make it fit, right? It's like the bigger the project is, the less I do to it. If it's mom and pop that paid $65 for a 30-second YouTube ad for their ice cream shop, then yes, I will. I'll do a little EQ. I'll do a little noise reduction. I'll do a little compression. There's like 4 things I'll do tops. But usually I just leave it raw. Usually I just leave it raw. That's a great question. If you check out my YouTube channel, theculturedbumpkin.com, I have a lot of, that's where I do my voice acting stuff, audiobooks and such. But I have a playlist called Voice Acting 101. And that, Sarah, is one of the videos that I have, is the 4 things that I do to a track. And that's if I do anything to a track. Sometimes I just totally leave it alone. I will edit it. I will edit out I'll make sure it's nice and clean audio. But a lot of the times I don't even touch it. I just send it absolutely raw to the client, and they're always happy because they can do, because I'm not a sound engineer. You know what I mean? I can edit it a little bit, but there are people, sound engineers, that know just levels above me and that would much rather just give it to me raw and I'll do my thing, kind of a deal. So don't be afraid to just say, look, as long as I've sort of cut out the mistakes, I'm just going to send it to you. You do what you want with that. And that's fine too. Now, if you are going to do audiobooks, most likely you're going to, there's some things on Audible, and there are a few parameters. Like they want the loudness, the normalization, as it's called on Audacity, to be between uh, -18 and -23 decibels, right? So if it's 23.6, it's out of range. If it's 17.9, it's out of range. It needs to be between -18 and -23. That's one of the ones, that kind of stuff. But in Audacity, what you can do is you can literally say, hey, make this, -22, and it'll go bam and put it within the range that you're looking for. So audiobooks can be a little different, but also it's super easy to work with, especially in Audacity. Okay, so the next thing you want to do, once you get your studio set up, you get a decent mic, and if you don't have a mic, a great mic is going to be $250, and a great interface is going to be another 60 to 80, right? So we're not talking a huge amount of money here. You could literally start your business for less than $500, right? Is the little money, but it's not going to be a huge amount. I think, and Steve, I mentioned the list of sites. I'll send that. Anybody that wants to, like, just shoot me an email, say, hey, could you send me that thing? What I've made is a list of links. It's all those sites that I recommended: Upwork, Fiverr, VoiceBunny, yada, yada, yada. There's also several links to Amazon of mics that I personally have used and I like. It's like, this is a good mic. It's good. Steve, Micah Touche. I actually talked to Micah, like, hey, tell me, like, of this mic and this mic, what's your favorite? And he was like, well, this particular one, of which I mentioned, it'll be in the list. This one is it's a warm mic. It picks up the warmth of your voice really well. And then this, yada, yada, yada. So I have a list of all these things, not only from that have worked for me, but from a top tier sound engineer slash soundscaper, like that in an audio drama. He's the guy that puts the music and then the sound effects and the Foley and the Walla and all that kind of stuff into a, sort of movie Dolby surround sound quality experience. Anyway, that'll be in the list. If you want it, shoot me an email. I'll send it to you. It'll have those things. So you want a good mic, you want a good interface. Now, once you got your studio, you got a good mic, you want a good demo. What's a good demo? Well, it depends on what you're trying to do. In my experience, commercials make a lot of money. That is, I've made more money off of commercials than any other genre, probably combined. So if you can speak with sincerity and nuance, oh, companies pay a lot of money for that. Because a lot of voice actors and AI clones, they try to sound real big. They sound real dramatic, but that's not how people talk. If I was, Jody, if I want to sell you an Infinity Q70L, right? Assuming you have an unlimited budget and your car shopping, I'm not going to say, introducing the all-new Infinity Q70L. I'm going to say, Jody, introducing the all-new Infinity Q70L, a unique blend of sporting luxury, innovative technology, and exhilarating performance. And so when you talk like you're talking to a friend, all of a sudden that people connect with that. You're not being talked at, you're being talked to like a friend, right? That is very valuable in commercials. Now, if you want to be, if you're like me, a bad day in the booth is better than a good day in the factory. So I do everything. I do audiobooks. I do characters, video games, audio dramas, animation. I do commercials. I do museum pieces, IVR, like you have reached, the orthopedic clinic, that kind of stuff. I do everything you can imagine. I do, and I'm happy to do it. Because I would way rather be a full-time guy at home in my, set my own schedule, be able to spend time with my family when I want to, than to, clock in a factory. It's just, I've done both and this is way better. And I believe you can do it too. There's nothing special about me beyond the time that I've spent to work on these sorts of presentations. So you need a demo, but I would recommend different demos. I wouldn't put them all together. So I would say, like myself, I have a commercial demo. I have a animation demo. I have an audiobook demo. I have an e-learning demo. I have a British demo. I have a Southern demo. Like I have all kind of demos. Now within each demo, and when I say demo, I mean that is not work necessarily that I have done. That is the equivalent of a voice act or a screen actor. We've all heard of headshots, right? Everybody from real estate agents to lawyers to actors have headshots. Now imagine if I put on a fire hat and like a fireman's jacket and was like, okay, well, I'm not a fireman, but this is what I would look like if I was in your show, Chicago Fire or whatever. You know what I mean? And so that casting director can say, he looks like a fireman. Let's hire him. She looks like a firewoman. Let's hire her. That kind of thing. That's what a demo is. So you don't have to have done the work. You can literally go on YouTube, find a McDonald's commercial from 10 years ago, transcribe it, recreate that sound, boom, goes on your demo. Because this is what I would sound like in a McDonald's ad, right? As opposed to a reel, now once you get some jobs under your belt, then you can make a reel. So I have reels of, video with actual content that I have had a part in. So I have a reel with Delta Airlines, and then Sunday Night Football, and the American Rodeo, and AT&T Stadium in Dallas, like different things together. Well, I've actually done that, so I'll put them together for sure. But until then, don't worry about it. Make a demo with, scripts that you pull off of YouTube that fit you and your voice, that showcase what you can do, right? Diana, if you, what I would do is I would not do like, let's say you do a great villain voice. Well, I'm not going to have 10 pieces of a villain. I'm going to say, okay, here's a villain, right? Well, the second piece ought to be somebody that's very compassionate, right? Maybe the next one, someone that's very motherly, like firm but fair, that kind of thing. Well, then maybe somebody that's an absolute boss, very assertive. Well, then someone else. So this is your portfolio of what you sound like, assuming this is, let's say, a character demo. If it was a commercial demo, like in my case, okay, so I have a car commercial, Infinity luxury car. Then I have a toothpaste commercial. Yay, like commercial, toothpaste, white teeth, like brush them up, look good. And then I go back to a hospice. We'll add, we'll give dignity to your loved one in their final days. Like you want to hear that empathy. And then right back into Allegra. It's allergy season, but I don't care because I take Allegra and I'm out throwing the frisbee with my dog. And then into like U.S. Marines, U.S. Navy, that kind of thing. So you want the casting director to be jolted with like, man, this person is so good. They sound empathetic, and then they sound, so assertive, and then they sound luxurious, and they sound like chipper and happy. You want to present that with your voice, right? Anybody, any questions so far?
So if you're just finding random commercials to copy, do you just keep the brand names in there or alter them to be
whatever
generic?
you want to be. Now, so this falls under fair use, right? So you're not, for anybody that's like, oh, that's plagiarism or like copyright infringement. It's not. That's like a standard practice, right? You're not of a 30-second commercial. You're literally taking 5 seconds out of a commercial. You don't have time in a demo to give you all 30 seconds. Your whole demo is going to be 60 seconds tops, and it's going to have 6 or 8 pieces in it. You know what I mean? So no particular part is going to be more than 10 seconds, let's say. So I would say don't worry about that. Take a part that has the brand name in it. In my case, with Infinity, I heard a Benedict Cumberbatch Jaguar commercial on YouTube. And I said, oh, that's amazing. Okay, I'm going to recreate that. So I transcribed it. And then, there's some British isms, aluminium alloy and stuff like that. I changed a couple things to Americanize it and then changed Jaguar to Infinity. And you know what? I have gotten 3 3 Infinity ads because of that piece. They're like, man, that sounded good. Let's work together again. And I've worked for Infinity 3 different times from a fake Infinity ad that I ripped off from Jaguar and changed the name on, and which nobody cares about because it's fair use and it's a demo. You know what I mean? It's not infringement. I'm not making money off of it. You know what I'm saying? It's not like I'm selling it. It's not an audio book that I'm selling or anything like that. This is just, hey, this is what I sound like. And they're not going to be any more mad at you than if you were to don an Air Force uniform for a headshot for an acting portfolio. You know what I mean? Like, oh, I could see her as the colonel in charge of the 37th Flying Training Wing at Columbus Air Force Base, that kind of thing. It's the same with voice acting. So I would say go on YouTube, grab some different moods, right, of different emotions, high energy, low energy, sincere, like chipper, excited, whatever sort of fits you and your personality, and do about 6 to 8 of them, and do hit as many emotions as you can, and you're gonna do good. Like that'll be a good way to do it. On the thing that I send out, Steve, it has the things that I mentioned, Fiverr, yada yada yada. It has some other a lot of other stuff, inspirational things. One of the things that has is a video link to a guy that I've never seen anybody do it so clearly. It's like 23 minutes long, and he tells you step by step how to make your own demo. So you can literally do it from the comfort of your own home, provided you have a good studio setup and you have a decent mic. Then you can make your own demo. There's no reason why you can't do that. And then I live near a studio here in my town with a sound engineer, and I offer a thing where, like, if you come to Columbus, we'll do your demo, and it's like $500 or something like that. So I offer that as well. But like, there's no reason why you can't do it. You can absolutely do it yourself. And if you just shoot me the email, I'll send you the link, and that's one of the links in it is a guy named Mike Delgadio, like the best instruction. It's just super simple, straightforward, linear, bam, 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 bam. Here's how you do it. It works very well. Any other questions? move forward. Okay, so so after you get your studio set up, you got your mic, your interface, your software, and then you get your demo set up. Well, then, like I said, we've discussed, you need to be on Fiverr, Upwork. You need to be cold calling people, sending them your demo, that kind of thing. And that will, word of mouth will get out. In your case, like Sarah, if you're doing your own book, that's what you want to do. Like that's perfect. That's going to be its own content, right? At this point, I would highly recommend you to be active on Instagram or Twitter or X or whatever, on YouTube, on TikTok, whatever it is. I'm active on several of those, and I'll just do like stupid stuff. Like it might be Sonnet 29 by Shakespeare in a heavy Southern accent, and I'll just post that. Well, there you go, Sarah. I found you on Instagram. Exactly. Um, Steve, Booth Junkie is the guy that I'm talking about. Mike Delgadio. That is
Yep.
he has the best build your own demo that I have ever seen from anybody. It's so good. Plus, he's a pleasure to listen to because his voice is so calming and it's wonderful. So that's in like that link that I will send out to you. That'll be in there if you haven't seen it already. But yeah, you just um, some of you are here because I was on Instagram or TikTok or whatever. That's how it works. You know what I mean? I've been, on TikTok just by posting like Southern Shakespeare. I had a guy from Scholastic, right, which is a big publisher out of New York. Um, Scholastic publishing house reached out to me and said, "Hey, I'm doing a like dramatic full cast audiobook for one of my books. I don't even need you to audition. I want you in it. You're this character. I give you $400. It'll take you 30 minutes." It's like, okay, great. So we did a little Zoom. I recorded it, sent it to him. Bam. You can find it on, you can find it on, what do you call it? Audible. Dave asks about Source Connect. Source Connect is great, depending on where you're getting your work. That if you've got a good, strong internet, you can do connect via Source Connect. Now I think they have several programs. It is paid, but you can buy it, I think, one time, or you can do a monthly subscription, which is like $35 a month, or you can do like $25 for a 2-day subscription, um, if as needed. So like me, most of my stuff is either remote or via Zoom. So I don't even have it hooked up. Um, how much of my work requires it? I would say less than 10% of my work. Now, someone else, it might be 50, it might be 100%. But basically, Source Connect helps you you can act in the booth, and then the person in Chicago or Los Angeles is hearing it in real time, and you don't send them anything. They're getting it in like high definition, and then you just show up for the call, do your thing, and get out of there. And it's it's great. Um, but I would say mine's less than 10%. I mean, most of mine is someone that says, "Could you send me this 30-second commercial?" And I'll give them 2 or 3 takes, and it takes me 10 minutes at the most, and they're super happy. Um, yeah, so that's Source Connect is great, but also I don't even use it that much personally, even though I've used it many times. I don't use it a lot, and I wouldn't if you're just starting out. I would not worry. Um, I wouldn't worry about it. Stephanie, great to have you. Have a good one. Be good. So yeah, and then so I think social media is great. It's a great way of getting your name out there. It's There's really no other time in human history have you been able to sit in your house and reach as many people as you can right now at this moment. Never in human history, which is kind of cool. It also has its ugly sides, of course, but that's pretty cool. Um, if you're trying to, make money for your family, make money to change your career, that kind of thing, you are set up to um, get your name out there like never before in human history. So use social media. Um, and then I would say practice, 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 practice. And even like, let's say you make a demo. Let's say you make a demo within the next 2 weeks. Keep practicing, and then listen to your demo every week or so. And it might be that you say, you know what, that third spot, I would do that different now. Great, do it again. Recreate that spot. And like always be refining, getting better at your demo, what you're offering to the world. Do it. And when I used to be in the Army, we had a saying, and that was always be improving your fighting position. I think that's good sound advice. So you're walking through the woods, and all of a sudden the team leader goes, and everybody gets down on one knee. That's your first position. You make yourself a smaller target in case somebody starts shooting at you. Okay, well then the team leader says, you know what? We're gonna be here a little bit. All right, everybody lay down, take your backpack off, lay down behind your backpack. Well, that's your second position. You're in the same spot, but you've improved your position by taking off your backpack. Now you're even smaller target. Well, then they're like, hey, we're going to be here probably all night. So you get out your little e-tool, your little shovel, and you dig a little hole and lay down in it, right? You've improved your position even more. If something goes crazy, you are a very small target. Okay. And then eventually you fill sandbags, you get a bulldozer in there, you whatever. Voice acting is the same way. It's to me the same exact way that I have approached it. And that is, if you got a closet, get in your closet. If you got a USB mic, whatever, get a mic, make your demo, get it up, get it out there, start making money. And then as you can, improve your sound, improve your interface, improve your studio, whatever. Always be improving, but never wait to be perfect, because you'll never be perfect. No matter how good you get, you'll never be perfect. So don't even worry about it. Just start going towards it, and and get something, get an offering out there with a buy button on it, basically. So when someone sees you, they can say, I would like to buy Jody's voice. I want to buy Jody's narration from my book. Bam, I can buy it. And on something like ACX, you're able to do that. And again, ACX is a great place to have samples, right? For audiobooks, that's where Audible has, they put publishers, narrators, agents all together in one room. You can do auditions, and then on your profile, you can have, um, you know, man talking to a woman, narrator, children's narration, whatever it is. You can have a lot of different styles of book narration on your profile, and you can get a lot of work through that. So anyway, tons of ways that you can get work with your voice if you're ready. Any questions?
What is your advice for building different character voices? So just a real quick background. I've been podcasting one of my stories for 3 years.
Okay.
And so that's 3 years of doing that, but I still feel like I'm lacking in quality. And I know I can look up post-production stuff online that I struggle with, but keeping those voices consistent has been a struggle, except for my two main characters.
Okay. What I like to do if I have a lot of characters is I like cast them as if I would a movie. So the book or the script becomes the movie, and then I become the casting director. So what I'll do is I'll say, okay, this character is Tom Hiddleston. Okay, this character is Kate Blanchett. This character is Derek Jacobi. This character is um, Benedict Cumberbatch, right? Now, then when that character comes up, I think of that person or that a character they have played and sort of imitate that character in some way. To me, that helps. There are other ways of doing it, I'm sure. To me, by casting it in mind, then whenever your character, Bill or Sarah, says something, then if you have, oh, that's Vanessa Redgrave. Every time Sarah says something, that's Vanessa Redgrave. Well, then you can be more intentional about getting there. And even if it's not, and I'm not saying be an impressionist, I'm not an impressionist, but a bad impression can be a phenomenal character. And so you just, if I'm like, okay, I'm going to be Patrick Stewart, you might not know I'm doing Patrick Stewart, but you do know, oh, that's a good character. Whoever that is, this guy's amazing, right? So that's kind of how I do it. All right. Good, good, good. I'm glad.
Do,
Yeah. What you got, Jody?
do you think it's better to sit or stand when you record?
I've done both. If it's short, if it's like less than 30 minutes, I kind of like to stand. If it's character type stuff, Steve knows what I'm talking about. We'll stand in a booth like in Chicago. And I don't think we've never been in there more than what, 20, 30 minutes at a time. Any one scene is never more than 20 minutes probably.
Yeah, no, a single scene, I mean, it could be 3 minutes,
Right.
you know?
But if I'm doing an 8-hour audiobook, I want to sit my butt down. And because one, the intensity is just a little lower. It's hard to me, it's hard to listen to an audiobook where, it's like super intense entire time for 8 hours. Come on. I would rather it be like, oh, guys, this is really intense. Like, so you can portray an intensity without like blowing my eardrums. So it kind of depends. It is completely up to you. If you did a whole 10-hour audiobook standing, I would not think you were crazy. I would be like, Jody, she's a hoss. She gets after it. I'm going to sit down for most of my long form stuff. But short stuff, standing is kind of fun because you can wave your arms and, sort of be the character a little more. But it truly is whatever you want to do.
Okay. And if you are moving, does that cut the audio? Like,
As long as your
the
mouth
is still there.
is at the mic, right? As long as your mouth is around the mic, that's all that matters.
Okay.
Now, if you're doing stuff like this, that will affect it.
Okay.
But as long as you keep your mouth on the mic within about this far, that's kind of a good rule of thumb.
Okay.
As long as your mouth is right around there, then you can bob your head, you can wave your arms, you can jump up and down. Just keep your, keep it right here. You'll be good.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah. All right. Any other? Oh, Jacob, I didn't see you in here. Good to see you, man. Jacob and I hung out in New York a couple weeks ago. Saw him do a play, and that I was literally brought to tears, and it was he was amazing. So, a lot of great artists in here, man. Great. So, any other questions?
Sorry. For
Okay.
Mike. I don't know if I have a setting. I use Adobe because my husband pays for it anyways for his graphic design work.
Okay.
My recording volume, like that comes in, is so low, like whisper soft, and I have the gain, like I have to crank it all the way up, and then you get all that room noise. So I don't know if I'm just doing something wrong, and I can't tell you what kind of mic I have because someone gifted it to me and I don't know. I used to use a USB X32. Someone gifted me an XLR mic. Um, I don't know how to get more volume or if I'm doing something wrong because I've got it there, and then you can hear all the breath sounds like the puffs when the gain is that high.
If I don't know the answer to that, but what I
Okay.
would do if I were you, I would check because Adobe, like if you're using Adobe Audition, that is a fantastic software. I mean, it's fantastic. I would check the volume in that. Then I would check the volume on the mic, and then I would check the volume on the interface, and then I would check the volume on the computer. So it could be that one of those four is like way down low. I don't know, but I would check those four.
Okay. Yeah, I don't know how to find the volume in Twilio.
Yeah, yeah, I don't know. I would, if that's a problem, I would go find it because it'll probably be one of those. Because I know Adobe Audition's a great program, so I know it's not like a low quality program. It's a great program, and there is a way to turn up and down the volume within the program.
Jake,
1 second, and then
check the volume on the interface, and then in Audacity, you can easily adjust your volume.
right,
So you're better off using whatever volume you have, as long as it's clear. You go into you'll see that within Audacity, you can boost your volume without changing the quality of your sound. And I do it all the time
right.
because I'm
She is
always not quite at the volume I want to be at when I'm doing it. But I check your interface. And if you don't have an interface, that's probably part of the problem. Hope that was
well,
helpful. But you can correct that in Audacity, that software, easily.
right. She has Adobe Audition, and then she does have an interface. What I'm saying, just check each point because there's about 4 points that could possibly be it. And if each one of those is at a reasonable volume, then I don't know what to tell you. But I would think that if it's too low, that one of those, either the recording software, Adobe Audition, the interface, the computer, or the mic, is going to be turned down too low. That's what I think. For sure, for sure. And thank you, Dave. That's, I mean, you exactly. I think there's at some point in the chain, something's turned down too low is all it is. Because she's using great equipment. Um, who else? Ryan, did you have I saw you had a question, but I don't know if I see it popping up here. Chat. Oh, okay. Oh, let's see. Let's see. Um, Before I get to Ryan, Jody, twisted wave to remove breath sounds. Yes. However, don't be afraid to use that. That's totally fine. But remember, a book of Genesis in the Bible, the Lord God breathed into his nostrils the breath of life, and man became a living soul. Breaths are good. Breaths are intimate. It connects the listener with the narrator when it's not in a distracting way. So I don't mean like, once upon a time, there's this little girl in a castle. I don't mean that. But if it's a gentle, reasonable breath, a breath is amazing. It can connect the listener to the narration and to the story in a way that more so than if the breath wasn't there. So I would say, don't get rid of them. And it's certainly
Yeah.
not in long form. Maybe in a radio commercial type of thing where there's not time, that's different. But if it's an 8-hour thing, oh gosh, leave the breaths. Please leave the breaths.
Thank you. It's sometimes I just sound like I'm about to go underwater for 2 minutes.
Well, I would say slow down.
Yeah,
Whatever you're
yeah.
doing, just slow down and if you feel like you're going to run out of breath, don't be afraid to make your own punctuation.
Okay.
If you need to take a comma, put a comma there, take a breath. You know what I mean? Like
Uh-huh.
leave the words as they are, but totally disregard the punctuation. I
Okay.
always do that. That's one of the biggest things that someone taught me when I was younger is don't even worry about commas and periods because sometimes in conversation that is not even there. Honor the words, but not the punctuation.
Okay.
Make your own punctuation.
Thanks.
Yeah. Ryan. Okay. Let's see. Let me pull up Ryan. Character stuff. Dang it. Where was that? Okay. You had a great question, and now I've just totally. Come on, buddy. All right. Okay. Tackling jobs like animation. I think, okay, so Ryan's question is, any notes on tackling jobs like animation that are typically reserved for Los Angeles while not living in Los Angeles? Here's my viewpoint on that. To me, Los Angeles is like Sodom and Gomorrah. I have no interest in living in Los Angeles. And even though I know for a fact I will have less character audio work because I'm not willing to move there, I'm cool with that. I don't want to take my family to Sodom and Gomorrah. And so, and yet I think there's so much stuff that you can do outside of it. I mean, I know a fellow that he's in Knoxville, Tennessee, right? He just signed with CESD out of LA for character work, and he works out of his home studio in Knoxville, Tennessee. So, just keep practicing, if you find someone in a movie or an audiobook, be able to mimic them, but then also know them so good that you could be extemporaneous. So I could be Gandalf, Sir Ian McKellen's Gandalf, but then I'm not just quoting from Lord of the Rings. I could read the Bible, or I could read a poem as him, or I could just talk to you as Gandalf the Grey, that sort of thing. So just be always practicing, always practice, and you just never know. And then Fiverr, there is tons of stuff on Fiverr that I've found. Like I'm in so many video games on Steam, you wouldn't even imagine. And Steam, if you don't know, is like a Netflix for video games, like indie video games. So you can pay $10 a month and just play all kinds of video games from all over the world. I'm in tons of that stuff. I will probably never be in an Activision or a like Red Dead type of a thing, and I am okay with that. If I'm making a living doing this, doing what I love, I'm okay. But also, I don't think it's essential. You may need representation out of LA, but I don't think you need to live in LA. I think there's a lot of work that is outside of LA. So that's not really a very thorough answer, but I would say, like in your case, if you don't want to move there, then don't worry about it. But there's still tons of work. But always be finding characters and developing and thinking. The other day I took a road trip with somebody, another voice actor. We drove for 10 hours in the car from New York to Tennessee, and I came up with a character that I call Rupert. Right? Like we developed it on the way, and then we did sort of some extemporaneous talking type stuff. Got Rupert talking. So anyway, Always be doing that. Eats, Shoots, and Leaves. I just talked to somebody that loved that book. The guy's name's Dr. Daniel Schwabauer, and he's a fantasy author. He was just talking about how much he loved that book. And I have not heard the audiobook or the printed version, but I've actually been meaning to like read that. That's cool. That's cool. So, well, my phone is about to die. You all have my email address. If you have, some of you are on Instagram. I answer DMs. I answer, in short, I would definitely listen to it. Okay. On your recommendation, I will definitely do that. I answer DMs, I answer emails. You got a question, you just shoot it to me. And then whoever wants it, shoot me an email and say, hey, give me that list that you're talking about. And it's got, lists of great places to put your demo. It's got all kind of helpful stuff. Here's some great ways of developing. And that is, in my case, I tell people, read classic literature and record yourself. That's one of the best ways, because you got good writing and you're developing nuanced emotion with your voice. That's one of the best things that you can do, is read classic literature, poetry, that kind of thing. So there's some videos like that with some great narrators and actors. There's just, how to make your demo. I've got a video on my YouTube about an overview. It's like an hour, 65 minutes long, I think, of like, bam, bam, bam. Here's how you set up your stuff. There's just all kind of helpful links on there for you. Shoot me an email and ask for it. If you don't have it already, I'll send it to you. And then obviously, if you have a follow-up question, I'm also happy to answer that if I know the answer. So, yeah. Anybody else? All right. Well, thank you very much for coming. Very nice to see you all again in some cases. Great having everybody. And yeah, you know where I'm at, and you know where to shoot any follow-up questions. So absolutely. Jacob, Ryan, great to have y'all.
Thank you, Jake.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Absolutely.
This was awesome.
Thanks so
Good.
much.
Good. Glad it was
Good night,
helpful.
everyone.
Good
Bye,
night.
everybody.
Bye-bye.